A 68-year-old woman in California woke up like any other morning. She felt slight numbness in her left arm, brief dizziness, and slurred her words a little while speaking to her daughter. She thought it was just poor sleep, had a cup of tea, and sat down to rest. But less than 2 hours later, she collapsed in the living room. At the hospital, doctors confirmed she had suffered a major stroke. Sound familiar? That's because strokes don't always hit like lightning. They're often quiet, subtle, and come with early warning signs, if you know how to recognize them. The danger is, these signs are often mistaken for just aging, being tired, or a bad night's sleep, and they get ignored, until it's too late. So, how does your body warn you before a stroke? In this video, I'll share 6 silent but serious symptoms, small signs that could save a life if noticed in time. Watch until the end, because the 6th sign is something 80% of stroke survivors experienced, without realizing what it meant. Before we begin, if you're committed to living a healthier, more fulfilling life, hit the like button to help spread this valuable knowledge. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And if you're enjoying this content, comment 1 below to let me know you're here. If not, comment 0, and I'll work harder to bring you even better content. Let's dive in now. Number 1. Numbness on one side of the face or limbs. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt a slight numbness in one arm? Or maybe your left leg felt like it had fallen asleep? You shook it off, rubbed it a little, and thought to yourself, probably just slept in a weird position, happens with age. Then you went on to make some tea, fold your blanket, open the window, but your steps felt a little off today, and your hand seemed weak, like it wasn't cooperating. A few minutes later, the numbness faded. You sighed in relief and moved on. But in that moment, your body had spoken, and you chose to ignore it. You used to ride a bike for miles, work in the fields, carry heavy things without complaint. Now, a little numbness makes you feel truly old, and you accept it as part of aging, like the stiff back or aching knees when the seasons change. But here's the danger. Not all numbness is harmless, especially when it's only on one side of your body and comes with weakness, heaviness, or difficulty moving. It could be the earliest sign of a stroke. Imagine your body as a radio. When the signal line from your brain to your limbs gets blocked, even just for a few minutes, your body can't receive clear instructions. One side might go numb, feel weak, your speech may slur, or your balance may falter. If you dismiss it as just aging or bad sleeping posture, you're ignoring a golden opportunity to prevent a serious stroke. According to the American Stroke Association, up to 80% of stroke patients experienced numbness on one side of the body within 48 hours before the stroke occurred, but only 1 in 4 recognized it and sought help in time. That's not meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up, just like Linda, 69, from Ohio. One morning, she felt a tingling sensation in her right arm and assumed she slept wrong. A few hours later, she collapsed in the bathroom. Her brain had already been experiencing reduced blood flow, and because she missed the early signs, it took her 6 months of physical therapy to regain her ability to move. Can you prevent this? The answer is yes, and you can do it on your own. First, don't ignore any sensation of numbness, weakness, heaviness, or loss of feeling on one side of your body, especially the face, arms, or legs. Even if it lasts only a few minutes, treat it as a warning sign worth checking out. Second, try the simple test. Smile, see if your mouth droops, raise both arms, check if one falls, say a sentence, see if your speech slurs. If anything seems off, call 911 immediately. Don't wait. You don't need your kids or grandkids around to decide to call for help. You deserve protection, and you're fully capable of providing it for yourself. No one knows your body better than you, and you don't have to wait for numbness to take action. Each morning, take a few minutes to gently move your body, breathe deeply, and notice how you feel. You're giving yourself an early warning system, because strokes happen fast, but your body always whispers before it shouts. Life after 60 can still be full, active, and joyful if you choose to listen to your body, starting with its smallest signals. A single episode of numbness isn't frightening. What's frightening is ignoring it. You have the power to do something different, starting today. 2. Sudden blurred vision or loss of vision in one eye. Do you remember how sharp your eyesight used to be when you were younger? You could thread a needle without glasses, see clearly at night, read the newspaper without needing a bright light, and recognize someone with just a quick glance. Now, maybe you find yourself holding a piece of paper closer to the window just to read the small print, or searching for a dropped needle for minutes without luck. That's normal. Our eyes, like everything else, change with age. But if one day your vision suddenly becomes blurry in just one eye, like a thin fog covering your sight, or if you see flashes of light or sudden dimming, that's not just aging. It's a warning sign. Many people think blurry vision is no big deal. Some even joke, getting old means blurry eyes. One day, I'll open them and see no one. Peace and quiet at last. It sounds funny, but if you experience sudden blurriness in one eye, especially if it comes with mild dizziness or strange light patterns, be careful. It might be a sign of a temporary lack of blood flow to the part of the brain that controls vision, a warning before a possible stroke. The brain processes vision like a movie being projected on a screen, powered by a network of delicate blood vessels. When blood flow is interrupted, even for a few seconds, that screen can glitch. You might see blur, darkness, flashing lights, or even lose vision in part of your eye. The issue isn't in the eye itself, it's in the brain. The part of the brain responsible for vision is the occipital lobe, and strokes in this region can happen silently, without pain, but leave serious and lasting damage. According to research from Johns Hopkins University, about 10% of stroke cases begin with temporary vision loss that lasts from a few minutes to a few hours. Most people ignore it, thinking it's eye strain, dryness, or just another part of getting older. They wait. They assume it'll pass, but just hours later, some lose vision permanently in one eye, or more. Take Arthur, a 74-year-old man from New York. One morning, while reading, he suddenly noticed that the vision in his right eye looked foggy, like someone had put a blurry lens over it. He assumed it was dryness and lay down to rest. An hour later, he couldn't see anything out of his right eye. At the hospital, doctors confirmed he had suffered a stroke in the occipital region of his brain, and they said if he had arrived just 30 minutes earlier, much of his vision could have been saved. Can this be prevented? Yes, and it's not complicated. Pay attention to any unusual vision changes, especially if they happen suddenly and aren't related to lighting or eye strain. If you notice blurring in just one eye, dizziness, or slurred speech, seek medical help immediately. Don't wait for your children or someone else to assist. You are fully capable of going to the nearest clinic or calling 911 if symptoms are serious. Each morning, after waking up, take a few seconds to focus on an object in the distance. Check whether both eyes are seeing equally. This simple vision check can be a powerful tool to help you catch a serious issue before it becomes irreversible. If you act in time, your life doesn't have to be interrupted. You can still read, do crossword puzzles, see your grandchildren's faces clearly, and enjoy all the beauty life offers. Your eyes are not just the windows to your soul. They're your early warning system when something's wrong with your brain. And you, and only you, can notice that signal if you're willing to listen to your body every day. 3. Dizziness, loss of balance, unknown reason. There are some mornings when you sit up in bed and feel like your head is moving ahead while your body lags behind. You haven't even stepped out of bed, but the world is already tilting and swaying like a ship leaving the dock. You grip the edge of the bed, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath and say, "It must be low blood pressure, just getting old." Sometimes, while walking through the house, your steps suddenly wobble, and you have to grab a table to stay upright. It's not unfamiliar, it's happened a few times before, but you still tell yourself it'll pass. And it does pass. That brief moment of dizziness or imbalance fades after a few minutes. You go back to your day, pouring tea, watering the garden, moving around the house. But what you may not realize is that these fleeting moments are the ones that matter most. Because when your brain isn't getting enough blood, it doesn't scream. It simply makes you lose balance. And if you don't pay attention, your body will keep sending signals until the day it becomes a serious fall, or worse, a stroke. Feeling lightheaded or unsteady for no clear reason, especially when sitting up or walking, and suddenly feeling like your body leans to one side, is a classic sign of temporary poor blood flow to the brain. It's like your brain running on low power. Everything still works, but slower. unstable, and vulnerable to shutting down. According to the American Heart Association, nearly 30% of stroke patients reported experiencing these symptoms within 72 hours before their actual stroke. But because it's not painful, there's no fever or numbness, people dismiss it as just a little dizziness from being tired. One recent example is Judith, 71, who lives in Seattle. 2 days before being hospitalized, she said she kept feeling unsteady while walking, even though her blood pressure was normal and her heart wasn't racing. That morning, as she stepped out of bed, she collapsed. Her daughter heard the noise and called 911. Doctors diagnosed her with a minor stroke. Thankfully, it didn't leave major damage, but she spent 4 months relearning how to walk. Can this be prevented? Absolutely, and you don't need anyone else to help you do it. Each morning, before sitting up, stay lying down for a few seconds. Then gently roll to your side, place your feet on the floor, and take 2 or 3 deep breaths. When you stand, don't rush. Stand still and see how your body reacts. If you feel dizzy, sit back down. And if this keeps happening, see a doctor, even if everything else seems normal. Don't wait for a fall to take it seriously. Don't wait until you're holding onto someone else's arm to remember that you used to walk steadily on your own. A few slower movements, a few more mindful seconds, those small habits can help you take control and avoid risks that are entirely preventable. And once you start paying attention to these subtle changes, your life begins to shift. You'll no longer fear getting out of bed in the morning. You'll feel more confident walking to the bathroom. You'll feel safer, more steady. And most importantly, you'll be managing aging with awareness, not by chance. And that might just be the greatest gift you can give yourself each day. 4. Difficulty speaking or slurred speech. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation, maybe sharing a funny story, or just asking a family member for a glass of water, when suddenly your mouth doesn't seem to cooperate? In your head, the words are clear, but as they come out, they sound slurred, broken, or oddly distorted. You pause for a moment, shake your head, and think, maybe my tongue just slipped. A loved one might laugh it off, saying, Mom just got her words mixed up. Happens with age. And just like that, it's dismissed. You reassure yourself too, until it happens again. You used to be the one who spoke with confidence. People listened when you spoke. You could tell a story with charm, sing karaoke for an hour without missing a word. But now, there are moments when you speak and aren't even sure what just came out. Don't be too quick to blame age, because if your mouth isn't cooperating, if your words feel like they've slipped off the rails, that's your brain sending an urgent signal. What many people don't realize is that one of the early signs of a stroke is slurred speech, garbled words, or saying the wrong thing without being able to control it. This isn't just mixing up your words. It happens when the part of your brain responsible for speech loses its blood supply. You're still alert. You know exactly what you want to say, but your body can't execute it properly. It's like having music in your head but a broken speaker. What comes out is warped and incomplete. If you ignore that moment and think, I just need a sip of water, you might be shutting the only window of time you have to stop a major stroke from unfolding. I once heard the story of Harold, 73, in Texas. He was eating breakfast with his wife when he suddenly said something she couldn't understand. He repeated it, still slurring. She thought he was joking. 20 minutes later, he couldn't speak at all. They called 911. The doctors said if they had waited even 30 minutes longer, he might have lost his ability to speak permanently. That's not a guess, that's a fact. The good news is, you don't need any fancy equipment or anyone's help to detect this early. Every morning, try saying one simple sentence, anything you like. If it comes out clearly, you're good. But if your tongue doesn't move properly or your words stumble, go get checked. Don't wait for someone to remind you. Your body is the most honest companion you have, if only you'll listen. And you'll see that with just a little attention each day, you're not only preserving your health, but also your connection to the world. You'll still be telling stories, laughing with your grandkids, expressing your thoughts, clearly, fully, without stumbling. Because you didn't ignore the small signs, you protected something big, the right to speak your truth, and live your life to the fullest. 5. Sudden, severe, unusual headache. Some headaches you can predict. Staying up too late, eating salty food, a shift in the weather, even getting frustrated with your husband can bring on that familiar dull ache. But if a headache hits you suddenly, intensely, and feels completely different from any you've had before, that's when you need to stop everything and pay attention. Because sometimes, the body doesn't whisper, it screams once and shuts down. When you were younger, you could carry sacks of rice, bike with a child on the back, work under the hot sun without complaining. Now, when a cool breeze blows by and your head pounds like a hammer, you might sigh and think, probably my sinuses. I'm older now. But deep down, you know. There's a kind of headache that isn't like the others. It strikes like a blow. Sharp, searing pain, like someone hit you in the back of the head with a hammer. That's not sinus pressure. That's not a stiff neck. That could be an early warning sign of a brain hemorrhage, a type of stroke caused by bleeding in the brain. Unlike an ischemic stroke caused by a blocked artery, a hemorrhagic stroke happens when a blood vessel in the brain bursts and bleeds into the surrounding tissue. Because the skull has no room for that blood to expand, pressure builds quickly, compressing the brain. The result is a thunderclap headache, dizziness, and in many cases, rapid loss of consciousness, if not treated immediately. You don't need a medical degree to know something is wrong. Just remember, if a headache hits you out of nowhere, with no clear cause, and it comes with blurred vision, nausea, weakness in your arms or legs, or slurred speech, take action. You're not bothering anyone. If you act fast, you're not only saving yourself, you're preserving your independence and your quality of life. I once heard the story of Clara, 72, in California. One morning, while watering her garden, she felt a bolt of pain shoot through her head. Her son said, "It's probably heat exhaustion," and started to help her inside. But she knew this wasn't a headache she'd ever felt before. She called 911 herself. A CT scan later confirmed a small blood vessel leak in her brain. Doctors said if she had waited even an hour longer, it could have turned into a full hemorrhage. Because she acted quickly, she only spent a few days in the hospital and recovered well. Recurring headaches from lack of sleep, eye strain, or dehydration, those you can manage. But a headache that stops you in your tracks, makes you sit down because you physically can't stay upright, that's the one to listen to. You don't need anyone to push you. You don't need anyone to tell you. You just need to trust your own sense that something is not right. And once you begin to recognize those signals, your life becomes not just safer, but more empowered, more peaceful. Because you're no longer letting fear take over, no longer leaving things to chance. You've chosen to listen to your body and to live with clarity and courage, just like the strong, wise person you've always been. 6. Unusual fatigue, drowsiness, slow reaction. There are mornings when you wake up without any pain, no fever, no cough, yet your body feels completely drained, as if you never slept at all. Your eyes want to close again, your limbs feel heavy, and your mind floats in a fog. You think, maybe I ate too much salt last night. Or tell yourself, it's just age, feeling tired is normal now. But if this fatigue lingers day after day, accompanied by unusual sleepiness, slower reactions, and delayed responses in conversation, your body may be signaling something more serious. When you were younger, you could do housework, cook, run errands, and still have enough energy to sing karaoke at night. Now just watering a few plants or sweeping the porch can leave you dizzy. You chalk it up to getting old or feeling worn out, but if you find yourself needing to lie down in the middle of the day, nodding off while watching TV or even mid-conversation, don't ignore it. Especially if it's paired with tingling in the hands, slurred speech, or lightheadedness, these could be signs of reduced blood flow to the brain, a quiet warning before a possible stroke. Your brain is the most complex machine in your body, and also the most sensitive to oxygen loss. When blood doesn't flow properly to the brain, due to narrowed vessels or fluctuating blood pressure, it starts to slow down, like a computer running low on battery. You might feel unusually tired, sleepy for no reason, foggy or forgetful. This isn't just aging, it's your body whispering before a potential storm. One memorable case is Eleanor, 76, from Oregon. She often nodded off during the news and had recently started forgetting her granddaughter's name. Her daughter assumed it was just age, but one afternoon, Eleanor couldn't remember the way home after a short walk around her neighborhood. After testing, doctors discovered she had experienced several mini-strokes in the past few weeks without realizing it. The issue wasn't her memory or her age. It was about whether she was paying attention to the unfamiliar sensations in her own body. And truly, you don't need to do anything dramatic. Just observe yourself each day. Do I feel more tired than usual today? Am I unusually sluggish? Am I sleepy mid-morning even after a good night's rest? If these things happen more than once, it's time to take action. Not for anyone else, but for you. When you start listening to your body, you stop feeling powerless in the face of aging. You stop being fooled by the idea that tiredness just comes with age. You'll feel sharper, more in control, and reassured that every step you take is a conscious choice, not one your body drags you into. And that feeling, that sense of still being in charge of your own life, is the most precious gift of a self-caring, empowered aging journey. But you know what? Age doesn't take away your ability to observe, to listen, or to take action. You, and no one else, are the one who knows your body best. And you are also the one who can protect yourself with the smallest acts, paying attention to anything unusual, checking in with yourself each morning, and never dismissing what feels off. Don't wait for someone to remind you. Don't let a moment of hesitation cost you the active, independent life you still deserve. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment with the number 1, hit like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones. Because sometimes, even a small piece of information can help someone avoid something truly serious. Thank you for listening, and always remember to keep listening to yourself every single day.